Welcome back, brethren. We are going to continue our Sabbath series. Today, we're going, of course, into the words. These be the words, otherwise known as Deuteronomy. We just finished going through the 10 words of the covenant as recorded in Deuteronomy chapter 5. And now we're going post-covenant in chapter 5, the finished chapter 5. And where Moses is now speaking to Israel about the covenant. Now, let me just let me explain something to you all. We talked the last time. Matter of fact, let's go back to that spot where we left off just now in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 22. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 22. Deuteronomy 5:22. Welcome back. Deuteronomy 5:22 says, "These words Yahweh spake unto all your assembly in the mount, out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, with a great voice, and he added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone and delivered them unto me." So again, we pointed out, now Deuteronomy 5 is a review of what happened in Exodus 20. So Exodus 20 was the recording of the actual event. Deuteronomy 5, Moses is reviewing with the Israelite nation what happened in Exodus 20. And so he's speaking these words as something that already happened, right? And so he says, "These words Yahweh spake unto all your assembly in the mount, out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, with a great voice, and he added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone and delivered them unto me." And there's a lot here. So he's saying, all your assembly. Now, in the New Testament, the word assembly is, what word do they use, brethren? What word do they use in the New Testament for the word assembly? He said, "These words Yahweh spake unto all your assembly." What word do they use in the New Testament? Right, they use the word church. Now, of course, when you read the whole Bible and you understand what church means assembly or congregation. Correct. It's either assembly or congregation. Now, the church, capital T, capital C, is the nation of Israel. That is the assembly. When the nation is together, it's called a church or an assembly. Now, where 2 or 3 of the Israelite people trusting in the Most High are together, that is what? An assembly. When we're getting together to fellowship and go through the word, if it's 1 or 2, 5, 10, it's an assembly, okay? It's an assembly. A gathering, an assembly, we're congregating, right? But of course, if as you study Christianity and you've been raised in it like I was, or you've been raised in it in a culture of European centralized culture, where most of us have been, you have been taught that a church is a gathering of people in a specific building, right? In Christianity, that the church is the Christian church, right? That's what you've been taught, that the church is actually an entity, an institution. Isn't that correct? So that when you think of church, when somebody says the church, you're thinking of a building with crosses on it. Usually, it's a 501c3 corporation. It has pews, right? It has pews. It has a sanctuary. What they call a sanctuary. It has pews. It has a pulpit in the front. Sometimes it has seats behind it where elders sit. Correct? And you think of that as the church, and then you've been taught that this building is part of an institution that worships a religion called Christianity. Is that what you've been taught? Is that what you've been, and I'm putting it nicely to say what you've been taught, but I think the real way to say it is you've been brainwashed, and I have been brainwashed. That's what we've been brainwashed into thinking this is what the Bible, when the Bible says the church, that's what it means. It means a building with believers, right? In a Christian institution, right? Correct? But when you read the whole Bible, you understand church is an assembly. And it's not just any assembly. It's the Israelite assembly. See, not every group. So when Samson was taken captive and they brought Samson to their worship service, the Philistines brought him to their worship service and they called it the house of their God, Dagon. Isn't that right? They didn't even call it a church, did they? They said it was the house of their God, Dagon. And you know what? All the Christian churches are the house of their gods. White Jesus, Mary, right? The Madonna, right? Fatima, the saints, St. Thomas, St. Paul, St. George, St. whatever, right? That's the house of their gods, the white Jesus. You see? And so, part of studying this word with the blessing of your heavenly Father and his Spirit, what ends up a process happens in you and me, that we unlearn things and we learn things. We unlearn and we learn. So we unlearn what we thought was a church. And we learn what it is an assembly of Israel. And the Messiah said, wherever 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am. Why? Because what did he know? That we would be what? A scattered nation. Which is why the everlasting gospel goes to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. Why? Because the church, the assembly, is scattered into every nation and kindred and tongue and people. See? And that's why it's not that he's trying to reach the heathen with the gospel of Jesus. Raise your hand and receive Jesus. No. It's the message of the only true God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, from his only true people that he has chosen to spread that message. And the assembly is when people have received that and received the Hebrew Messiah, the captain of Yahweh's host, when they receive that and they gather together to worship Father Yah wherever they are, in an apartment, under a tree, on a beach, in a mountain, in a house, in a building, in a basement, wherever you are, that assembly is also called a church. And that's what he says. All your assembly, that is the whole church. And so when Messiah say, upon this rock, I'm going to build my church, what is he saying? I'm going to build my Israelite assembly. Who was he talking to? Wait, let us remind ourselves. When Messiah say, thou art Peter, and upon this rock I'm going to build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Who was he talking to? Who was his audience? Was he in the company of the Babylonians or the Chinese? Who? Thailand? Well, he was talking to Israel. Right. So upon this rock, I'm going to build my assembly, my Israelite nation assembly. And the gates of hell shall not prevail against my nation. Okay? You see how clear and simple it becomes when you actually read the word. So Moses was now speaking as an intercessor, an intermediary to Israel from the Most High. And he's saying, Yahweh gave us these words to all the church, all the assembly in the mount, out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness. And he used a great voice, as we have seen before. He said, you didn't see me, you heard me. Okay? You didn't see me, you heard me. And so the Father didn't show him his shape. He did later when he had Moses come up, he showed them his shape on the throne. Remember that. But when he made a covenant with the covenant written on a book, and he sprinkled blood, remember that? But that day, when they got the covenant as a nation, they heard it from his word. And again, we point out all the time why that's important. Why is that important? Because to the Father Yah, the first rebellion was against his word. It was against his word. And so he demands that we believe his word above everything. Okay. We will see him. We're going to see him face to face. We're going to see the captain of our salvation, Messiah, Hawashah, face to face, our cousin. We're going to see all the prophets. But before that, he wants us to hear and believe his word. So he said, you heard my word. He said, all million plus of y'all heard my word. Y'all are my people. Y'all are my witnesses to my word. Now, it's important for us to understand this, brethren. Every precept that the Bible has, when you talk about precepts, statutes, and judgments, you're dealing with how the word works in society. That's what the precepts and statutes and judgments are about. It's principles based on the covenant. Does that make sense, y'all? So you have to understand at that time where they were living, what the society was like. So, for example, a lot of people get caught up in the beard because the Bible doesn't say you must wear a beard. What it actually says, in fact, let's take a look at it in Leviticus. Let's look at the word in Leviticus. Let's look at what it actually says here. Leviticus, well, where was I? Hold on. Hold on one second, brethren. Oh, man, I can't find it now. Hold on. Is it Leviticus or is it? Man, I can't find it now. Where is that? And some of y'all help me. Where is that thing at? Daggone. Where is it? Daggone. It's in I thought it's in Leviticus somewhere. I thought it was in Leviticus. In fact, I know it's in Leviticus. Hang on a second. It talks about the beard. I'm going to find that. Hold on. 1970. Thank you, Will. I can see that's what happens when y'all start reading the word. I can look to y'all and say, where is this at? And y'all say, this is where it is, brother. Praise the Most High. Leviticus 19:27. There it is. 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 Okay. Leviticus 19:27. I'm going to read I'm actually going to read from 26 down to 28 for the context. And that's important here. Context. Leviticus 19 from 26 down to 28. Ye shall not eat anything with the blood, neither shall ye use enchantments nor observe times. Ye shall not round the corner of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corner of thy beard. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. Now, when you look at all of that in context, what are the people that did those things? What kind of people? What were they doing when it says you shall not use enchantments, eat blood, make cuttings in your flesh? What was that about? Why was he saying those things? That's right, because those were practices of pagan people. Those were, in fact, religious practices of pagan people. So when he's dealing with the corners of the heads and the corners of the beard, he's dealing with a particular style that they learned from pagans in Egypt. You just that, brother? There's a particular style that apparently the pagans did that he's telling you don't do that. Right? So it's not saying you must wear it. Did it say you must have a beard? Did it say that? No, it's not saying that. It's telling you don't wear your beard and your hairstyle in the styles of the pagans. Does that make more sense? You hear what I'm saying? Don't wear your styles in the styles of the pagans. Why? Because they worship another god. Does that make sense, brother? And this is a perfect example of what we're talking about. All the principles, all of the judgments and the statutes have to do with not worshiping other gods, not practicing things that people that worship another god practice, not wearing the clothes of people that wear other gods. That's why he said, don't put no cuttings in your flesh. Now, who puts cuttings in their flesh today? When you go to a fraternity, right, brothers, y'all that went to HBCU, especially y'all, when y'all join the fraternity, don't they make you put sometimes a cutting in your flesh? He's saying, don't do that. You're not with the heathen. And those fraternities, where they come from anyway? Aren't they Greek? Aren't they Greek? What y'all doing with that? You getting that from Europe? What you doing that for? Yeah, what you doing that for? You got that from the Europeans. What you doing that for? That ain't Israelite. Yeah, see? So he is trying to express, my point in bringing all this up is the statutes and judgments are simply Father Yah expressing to us. Don't be like those that worship other gods. Don't worship like that. Don't create signs of worship or things of statues and that are from the other gods. See what I'm saying? So all this, and then you have to understand this is where they came from. This is the area of the world they lived, right? And also we have to also understand it was an agricultural economy, a farm economy. That's what they were based in at the time, a farm economy. And I'm going to say that, when we get to the kingdom, there's going to again be a farm type economy again, but that wasn't all they did. But because of that, a lot of the statutes and judgments have to do with people that were farmers and how they dealt with each other. But the principles of what they're talking about have to do with obedience to the covenant. Does that make sense, y'all? See, now we're not, for the most part, the citizens, particularly in the so-called developed nations, for the most part, we're not in a farm economy. We're in a different type of economy now. But the principles of how we deal with each other in terms of the covenant, they stay the same. So we just have to understand when we're studying Deuteronomy or Leviticus and you see in the statutes and judgments, you have to understand the principles behind it. And remember, and what I'm trying to say to y'all, the principles always are founded in the covenant. So you look at the covenant, understand what principle are we dealing with here from the covenant. Because that's all everything was. It was a principle dealing with how you deal with each other as you serve your only true God. And that's why Messiah was saying, for example, he going to heal on the Shabbat. And they said, how you going to heal on the Shabbat? He said, the Shabbat was given by the Most High. I am the Lord of the Shabbat, and it was given for man. Man was not given for the Shabbat. It was given for man, to man. So you're supposed to rest and honor your Creator. It's not for you to say what you can't do and what you're supposed to do, and you can't heal on the Shabbat. It's not for y'all to do that. See, because it was about what was covenant about, honoring Father Yah. And Messiah said, my Father heals, so I heal. See? Then they said, well, how come y'all disciples are walking through the field picking corn and eating? You're not supposed to be picking corn. That's work. You breaking the Sabbath. He said, no, you're not. He said, we're hungry. What? We supposed to starve because it's Sabbath? See? What's the principle we're dealing with here? Make sense? So always, right. And he said, David, when he was hungry, he went to go eat. He ate holy bread when he was hungry. He was hungry and he went to the priest and he ate the holy bread that was the showbread. He ate it because he was, why? Because he was hungry. See? So remember that. When we start, we're going through Deuteronomy now, you're going to see a lot of statutes and judgments. Always remember, the statutes and judgments are based on how they dealing with each other and how they honoring the Father in the covenant. And again, the covenant, the most important principle of the covenant is thou shalt have no other gods before Yah. He is the only true God. He the one brings us free from slavery, and he's going to do it again because we're in slavery in Babylon now. He's going to break us free from slavery. He has done it in the past. He's going to set up an eternal kingdom. We have no other God but him. And he has one Messiah, one captain of his host, one high priest, one prophet of all prophets. That is Mashiach Yahushua. And so we know that. And so everything we're doing is to honor that. To honor that. Okay? And he ain't add no more to those 10 words because that's the words. Okay, that's the words. Praise the Most High. These be the words. And Messiah is the word made flesh. He's the covenant of Yah made into a man so that he can, the Father was going to express to us as Israelites, what does his word look like in a man? Notice it was a man of the tribe of Judah. He wanted us to know that it looked like Judah, it looked like Israel, and this is how it's supposed to operate. It wasn't just any man. He specifically picked a man of the tribe of Judah. Because Judah, according to Jacob, Judah's father, Judah is the lawgiver. Judah is the lawgiver. See? All right. Praise the Most High. See how deep the word is, man? We just praise him all the time for his word and his covenant and all his principles of righteousness and truth, and above all, the prophecies that point us which way we're going to go in the future. Praise the Most High. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 23. And it came to pass when you heard the voice out of the midst of the darkness, for the mountain did burn with fire, that ye came near unto me, even all the heads of your tribes and your elders. Verse 24. And ye said, behold, Yahweh our Most High have showed us his glory and his greatness. We have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that Yah doth talk with man, and he liveth. Now, therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of Yahweh our Most High anymore, then we shall die. Now, that's how powerful it was. Can you imagine? I mean, again, let's look at Hebrews for a second, just to compare with what it said about that same situation at Mount Sinai. Hebrews chapter 13. Hebrews chapter 13. No, I'm sorry. It's chapter 12. It's Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews chapter 12. I'm going to begin in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 18. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 18. That's right. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 18. I'm going to begin at verse 18 and read down to verse 24. Hebrews 12, 18 to 24. We're coming right back to our reading in Deuteronomy 5. For ye are not come unto the mount that might be touched, and that burn with fire, nor unto darkness, blackness and darkness and tempest, and the sound of a trumpet, and the voice of words, which voice they that heard entreated that the word should not be spoken to them anymore, for they could not endure that which was commanded. And if so much as a beast touch the mountain, it shall be stoned or thrust through with a dart. And so terrible was the sight that Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake. But ye are come unto Mount Zion, unto the city of the living Most High, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly, and the church of the firstborn, which are in heaven, and to Yah, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect, and to Yahushua, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaketh better things than that of Abel. The blood of sprinkling. Why did he mention Abel? Because Abel was the first one you saw doing the sacrifice for sin. Abel, Adam and Eve, the father did the first sacrifice. He clothed them, but then Abel did the sacrifice. He said, that's how it started. He said, but now Messiah is the firstborn. Messiah is the firstborn of the Israelite assembly. And his blood speaketh better things than Abel's sacrifice. Yeah, because of his own blood, right? And so he said that they couldn't even endure. Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake. Can you imagine that the noise and the sound of the trumpet and the voice of Father Yah was so powerful that the people said, can he stop talking? Because if he keeps talking, we're afraid we're going to die. We're afraid all of us are going to die if we keep hearing his voice, because it sounded destructive. Okay. Think of a thunder or lightning that you've heard that sounds violent, sounds destructive, and multiply that multiple times. You get a sense of what we're dealing with here. It's a very powerful voice that the Bible says it shook the earth. Okay, it shook the earth like an earthquake. Okay, it shook the earth. And so you heard the voice of the trumpet, you heard the voice of the Father, and even Moses himself, who had been in the presence of the Father multiple times, said, I exceedingly fear and quake. So they came to him. Go back to Deuteronomy 5. So they came to Moses, the heads and the elders of the tribes came to Moses and said, listen, man, you go talk to him, okay? Because we heard him. We know he lives. We caught the covenant. We heard him. Brother, we heard. And we're scared that if he continues speaking, none of us will survive. So why don't you go and talk to him and then come back and tell us what he says? All right. Now, Deuteronomy chapter 5. Let's go back to verse 24. Read from verse 24 down to verse 28. And ye said, behold, Yahweh our Most High have showed us his glory and his greatness. We have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that the Most High doth talk with man, and he liveth. Now, therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume the voice of Yahweh our Most High any more than we shall die. For who is there of all flesh that have heard the voice of the living Most High speaking out of the midst of fire as we have and lived? Go thou near and hear all that Yahweh our Most High shall say. And speak thou unto us all that Yahweh our Most High shall speak unto thee, and we will hear it and do it. And Yahweh heard the voice of your words when ye spake unto me. And Yahweh said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken unto thee. They have well said all that they have spoken. So now we are getting a sense of why there's an intermediary between the Father and us. Aside from the fact that we could not endure the sight of the Father without death, even in the voice form, when he came to our fathers and spoke, they were even scared of death then because of the power of Father Yah. And he wanted the people to get a sense of that, so that when he sets a Messiah up as our intercessor, we understand. And we do understand. See? So the Father set us Messiah as the high priest, and Messiah is to us the Son of Father Yahweh. And to Messiah, to the Father, is the Son of Man. He is the Son of Man and the Son of Yahweh. So when he's talking to Father Yah on our behalf to grant perfect righteousness, to have our names written in the book of life, to have us remain there forever, he's talking to Father as the Son of Man. When he comes to us with the message of prophetic utterance, remember, the testimony or the witness of Messiah is the spirit of prophecy. He is witnessing of Father's words. So when he give us his spirit and talk to us of Father's will and words, he is the Son of Yah. He's the Son of Yah, okay? He's the Son of the Most High. And that's who he is. And he's not, there's other people like Ezekiel called Son of Man. Remember he said, Ezekiel, Son of Man, do this. And he said, we shall be called the sons of Yah. See? So why? Because we are in Messiah. That's why the sons of Yah. Everybody that's the followers of the Father, he calls the sons of Yah. But there's only one that is the high priest, the prophet, the captain of the host, the top of the line, the firstborn. That's Messiah Yahushua, and the king. Okay, that's him. But that's why people in Genesis think that these sons of fallen angels. No, fallen angels are not sons of Yah. They're evil angels. Does that make sense? They're evil angels. Fallen angels are evil angels. They're with the liar, Asatan. They're not sons of Yah. The sons of Yah are his servants. They're his servants, whether they be angel or man. His servants are his sons. Just like Messiah said, ye are of your father. He said, Yah, I know you're Abraham's seed, but you're of your father, the devil. See? So he didn't call them sons of Yah. We are called sons of Yah if we're followers of Father Yah as the only true God. Okay? Deuteronomy chapter 5. Deuteronomy chapter 5. So the Most High said to Moses, they spoke good. So yeah, you come on up and I'll let you give my words to my people. Okay? So we go Deuteronomy chapter 5. I'm going to read verse 28 and 29 and 30. Deuteronomy chapter 5, 28, 29 and 30. And Yahweh heard the voice of your words when ye spake unto me. And Yahweh said unto me, I've heard the voice of the words of this people which they have spoken unto thee. They have well said all that they have spoken. And then verse 29, look at this here. Oh, that they were such an heart in them, that they would fear me and keep my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Go say to them, get you into your tents again. So what is he doing in verse 29? He's expressing his desire and his will, what he wants for us. Oh, that there were such an heart in them, that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always. That's the Father's desire. What does he want? That we would have a heart the fear means to respect and reverence. That's what the fear talks about. It's not just being scared. It's a respect and reverence and honor to your Father. Respect and reverence and honor your Heavenly Father. That they would fear me always and keep all my commandments. And that's what the Bible says here, the conclusion of the whole matter. Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Fear Yah and keep his commandments. This is the whole duty of man. Okay, so as his chosen people, our ultimate utmost duty is to fear our Father and keep his commandments above everything. And when we do that, and we come together as a people that do that, we have sweet fellowship, do we not? The Spirit of the Father is among us, and we have sweet fellowship. And when there's a man and a woman and the Father has them to become one flesh, to come together, and they both keep the commandments of Yah, and they both honor and reverence Father Yah, there's a sweet spirit between them, and they're connected because Father has chosen to to be connected. And you will know it. Okay? Praise the Most High. So he's expressing his deep desire and will to us here, very clearly, that what he wants. Oh, that they were such a heart in them, that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always for their good. He said, so they'll be blessed with them and their children forever. Because Father is eternal. Right? So he said, you keep my commandments always, you reverence and fear me, you and your children, your generations will be blessed forever. That's right. Choose life. Praise the Most High. He doesn't make it complicated. See that? He makes it very, very simple. It's not even about complication with the Father, Yah. It's extremely simple. It's just that the simplicity and directness of it messes with us in terms of our pride, in terms of our desires to go do our own thing, in terms of our desires to be our own God, in terms of our desires to do what we want instead of obedience to what he wants. That's what it is. It's not complicated. It's never complicated. It's very straightforward. Man makes it complicated to do what he wants to do. Okay? Deuteronomy chapter 5 from verse 31. Let's read verse 31 and go down to verse 33. But as for thee, he's talking to Moses now directly. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess it. Ye shall observe to do, therefore, as Yahweh your Most High hath commanded you. Ye shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. Ye shall walk in all the ways which Yahweh your Most High hath commanded you, that ye may live and that it may be well with you, that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess. So again, what is this word? This is the words that the Israelites were given to prepare them when they go to take the kingdom. Let me say that again. These are the words which Father through Moses gave to the Israelites so that they would obey them when they go to take the kingdom. So he does also the words to the Israelites that we would obey them when we go to take the kingdom. Oh, that they were such a heart in them that they would fear me always and obey my commandments when we get ready to go take the kingdom. That's right. Now, when he said you should not turn aside to the right hand or to the left, that means walk the path the Father has outlined for us in truth. Does that make sense? Walk the path of truth that he has outlined for us. Don't turn one way or the other. Stay on the path. Stay on the path of truth. As a matter of fact, there's a promise in Isaiah along those lines. Let me see here. I think I found it. I just opened up to it. Yep. Wait, no, it's chapter. I think it's chapter 30. Yep. Isaiah chapter 30. I opened up to chapter 33, which is another powerful one, but this is Isaiah chapter 30. Notice Isaiah chapter 30. I'm going to start at verse 19, Isaiah chapter 30. I'm going to start at verse 19 and go down to verse 21. Isaiah chapter 30 from 19 to 21. For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more. He will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. And though Yahweh give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore. but thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thy ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. He said, don't move to the right or to the left. Stay on the path of obedience of his word. So he says, when you start going off that path, you're going to hear a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. Okay, that's how faithful our Father is. So when you start or I start going off the path, he will be faithful to talk to us. He will be faithful to send us the Spirit. He will send us a dream. He will give us his word. And he will say, wait. This is the way. Walk ye in it. Don't go to the right or to the left. Don't go off the path. Stay on the path. This is the way. Walk ye in it. He's faithful. God is faithful, man. He is faithful and true. He will never leave us nor forsake us in anything, brethren. When we mess up, it's because just that we mess up. And I say this particularly, I use the relationships as an example because this is where most people mess up big time. Relationships end up having children, end up having families, and then when they get all broke up, everybody gets messed up. You know, one day my dad and I were talking, and he said, why is our family so messed up? See, my dad's getting old. He's 82, and he forgets things. And I said, Daddy, Pop, you kidding me? He said, well, I said, our family was disintegrated. I said, you don't remember the divorce with you and my mother? How nasty it was? You don't remember what it did to all of us? And he said, oh, yeah. Because relationships are a great way to illustrate letting Yah choose for you. Because if you choose for yourself and it ends up becoming hell for you, whose fault is that? See, people try to blame Yah. Don't blame Yah for your choice. He don't bring you through hell unless you choose to go there. If you're seeking to bring honor to your father alone, don't blame him when you get a messed up relationship. That's your fault. Because Yah is faithful. He's always going to warn you. The devil will play on something you want, some lust you have. You know, I had a friend of mine, and back in today it's a little better. But back in the 70s, y'all don't know, man. Some of y'all, it was all about dark skin versus light skin. Y'all remember? If you go back 60s, 70s, 50s, 40s, it was all about dark skin versus light skin. Fighting each other, dark skin versus light skin. And all the brothers wanted light-skinned women with straight hair, or at least that it appeared to be straight. They didn't want the dark-skinned women with very short hair who couldn't grow the hair down their backside. They wanted light-skinned women. Y'all remember that? Some of y'all remember that? And some of the dark sisters, they hated their dark skin, and they wanted light-skinned brothers with what they call good hair. Am I lying? It was always us against ourselves. That was the way it was. If you're old enough, you remember. Well, I knew a brother, a good friend of mine, still a good friend of mine. And he was determined to get him a light-skinned woman. And she had to have straight hair. Well, he found her. She was, at the time, we said, oh, fine, light-skinned, long hair, was a sister. Married. He was ever miserable after that. And he wondered for years, he kept saying, why did God allow me to do that? And I thought to myself, God didn't tell you to go get no light skin, long hair. You wanted the light skin and long hair. And what you wanted. See? That's what you wanted. And to be quite honest with you, if you saw my girlfriends at the time, they were all dark with short hair. Because I was rebellious against that whole thing. I hated it. And I hated that I was light-skinned. And I would go get the darkest girl with the shortest hair. Purposely. People would laugh at me. Oh, man, this brother's always getting the homely girls, man. You girls ain't got no hair. Yep. That's right. I like it too. And when I was about 11, my cousin, like my brother said it to me. we was talking about girls. I was about 11, he was about 12. And I said, so-and-so fine, she light skinned. And he said to me, and I'll never forget, he was 12. He said, you don't know? He said, what? The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That stuck with me. He caught me right there. And I said, wow. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. So after that, and it was not hard for me to have girlfriends at the time because all of the sisters hated their skin. So when I saw a dark-skinned sister with short hair, I knew I was attracted to her, and I know she would be attracted to me because of how society messed her head up. And I was rebelling against the whole light skin thing. I was just rebelling against it. Yes, right. Darker the berry, sweet the juice. So, but see, that was all in our heads, and that caused my man to say, well, I'm going to pick this light-skinned girl with long hair. He wasn't consulting the Most High. He wasn't hearing the voice behind him say, this is the way, walk ye in it. He wasn't hearing that. And that's why, I try to be honest with y'all because y'all can relate to the truth, right? Y'all trying to follow the word, right? Me too. So let me tell you, man, when I got on my knees, I was 21. No, I was 22. I had just broke up with a fine, dark and lovely sister. I broke up with her because the Most High had us break up. Okay. And I was coming, at that time, I was becoming a Christian. And, we was tight, but she was different. She was Catholic and I was not. And I was not, at 22, I wasn't very patient. And I was like, no, we're going to break up. I was just like that. I broke up with her. Much as I liked her, mostly I had to be honest, I liked having sex with her. But I broke up with her for the Most High. And so I prayed because at that time I wanted a girl. I wanted to be with somebody, but I didn't want to choose her. By now, at that time now, I was used to, you could stack up all the girls that I had seen and they looked like sisters. Dark skin, shorter hair usually, they all shaped similar. That was, you could stack them all up together because that's how but I thought, my mind, I was like, but you know what? I can't do that because it was scary to me. Very scary to have a marriage like my parents had. I did not want that. I'd rather not be married than to have that kind of marriage. And I just consciously decided that. No. So I wanted the Most High to choose because I thought I'd have a shot, and I mean a shot at staying with whoever she would be if he chose her. And I was scared to death. Why was I scared to death? And again, the Most High has given me wisdom since then, but I was scared that he would pick a white woman. I was scared because I would marry her. If he picked a white woman for me, I would marry her because he picked her and I would love her. See? And I was scared of that. I was scared of that because all my life I had been trained in my mind. My mother, one of the things she trained me, man, my mother wasn't the greatest mother, but she trained me that way. Leave them alone. And so I was like, man, what if she's a white woman? And I was scared, man. I was scared. And when he gave me this Puerto Rican woman right here, I had never dealt with no Puerto Ricans. I never dealt with Spanish like that. I had many Puerto Ricans think I was Puerto Rican. I had some of my friends thought I was lying when I said they have to meet my Jamaican family. They say, that's your grandmother? Because my Jamaican family had the thickest accent, right? So he was like, that's your family? I said, yeah, I thought you was Puerto Rican, So I had many times Puerto Ricans thought I was Puerto Rican, but I never dealt with no Puerto Ricans like that. So he picked this Puerto Rican. And we've been married 38 years. And I'm very happy with her. It was a lot of trial and tribulation. But he picked her. Okay? He was telling me, this is the way. Walk ye in it. And I listened because I didn't want to go my own way in this particular thing. I had enough sense. I wasn't the smartest guy on the earth, but I knew that I did not want my parents' marriage. And I wasn't going to pick her. And it wasn't going to be just light skin, long hair, or dark skin, short hair because I liked it. No, it was going to be what Father God picked for me. And that's who he picked. Okay. And I admonish you all, listen for the voice. And you know what? After he showed me that was her, he had to keep showing me because I wanted to make sure. He had to keep showing me multiple times. He had to give me many signs for me to say, okay. And by the time we got to the time of once the final sign came, and I thought, okay, that's it. And to me in my heart, that was it. The pastor that married us, he was like, man, you awful calm. You're going to be a young man. You're only 22 years old. You're going to be married. Or 23 years old. I was 23 when we got married. So you're 23 years old. You're not nervous? And I said, no. I said, no, because the Lord gave me this one. Jesus gave me this one. And that's it. Because once he confirmed, that was it. Okay. I wasn't worried about it. Like I said, I would have married whoever he gave me, whether she was tall or short or fat or skinny or white or any color. I would have married her if he gave it to me. Okay, because I needed to know it was him. That's what I'm saying. This is the way. Walk ye in it. Don't turn on the right or to the left. Follow the path that Father gave you. But always remember, he will never lead you wrong. If you're in a bad relationship, that's on you. You understand? I understand this, and I've seen women get beat up. My father beat my mother. I've seen people beat women up, and they wonder, why did God do this to me? I hate to tell you, sister, you did that to yourself. Or brother, this woman put me through hell. I hate to tell you, brother, you did that to you. Okay? You know what we used to say back in the 80s. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. What does that mean? That means follow the Father. Don't just go with what you want. Check yourself. In all thy ways, acknowledge him. Listen for his voice before you wreck yourself. Right? Yep. Some of y'all know. Some of y'all know. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. He said, ye shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. Follow the Father Yah. Listen for his voice. When it comes to a relationship, he will never do you wrong. He will always do you right. If you get in a bad relationship, it's on you, brothers, sisters. It's on you. That's you. And admit that was you. Okay? Always. He will never let you go into a bad situation. Now, that doesn't mean the situation he put you in ain't going to be trials. Yes. What you think, 38 years been just bliss, skipping through the park? Oh, hell no. Heck no. We at that point now, but brothers and sisters, we had to go through a lot to get here. Because relationships and marriage is about character development of both people. It's about character development of both people. That's what it's about. And so the first step is to allow Father Yah to choose for you. The second step is to allow the character development to take place. Yes, man. All of us do. Listen, you can't take two human beings and think because you'll have sex together that it's just going to be all good. Come on. There's a lot going on, brethren. A lot going on. A lot got to go on right here in the spirit. A lot got to go on for both people. Right? For both of us. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. It ain't going to be easy, even when it's her. It ain't going to be easy. But if it's Yah's will, the end is designed for you to be successful, for you to be happy, that it be well with you. That's the end. That's the end. That it be well with you always. Okay, so always listen for his voice. Always, especially in these things like a relationship. Yeah, people are lonely. Yes, a man is a man. If he sees somebody that look good in their body, he wants to have sex with her. But that should not be what causes you to decide this is her. Father Yah will decide for you. Okay. And that's what too many sisters, I see them. I see them all the time on YouTube. Getting in shape, stepping out. There's very few things on the earth that looks good, looks better as far even as art than a beautiful woman walking. I like to watch my wife walk. You see them walking, it's something like, wow. Yeah, but that's not the decision. That's not making the decision to be with that person. They think it is, and they're getting themselves in trouble because they're going to draw the honey going to draw the bees now. Okay, the honey going to draw the bees, but what bees you want? What bees you want? Better find out. Let the Father tell you. That's all I'm saying. Let him show you. That's your best bet. And if you fail with someone the Father gave to you, it's on you. Because a lot of people don't want to go through the development process. It's not easy. It's not easy. Don't lie to yourself and think it is. Even with the one Father chose. So you make sure that he chose her or him, and you make sure you're prepared because you're going to change. Truth. Okay? Truth. Well, that was chapter 5. Praise the Most High. That was chapter 5. Yep. Honey draws all kinds of stuff to it, don't it? That's right. Honey does. You know what else draws flies? Something else draws flies. What you want? Be careful. You might get more than you asked for. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Yeah, Deuteronomy is deep, isn't it? It's powerful. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Yeah. Indeed it is. So we're going to start another powerful chapter, chapter 6. Next week, chapter 6. You're going to see chapter 6 is powerful. It is. Praise the Most High. In the meantime, may the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom.